How's it? Today is Monday, May 17th, and I have another Snatch workout today, Snatch session. It's more of the same, to be honest, just kind of getting my elbow to be as warm as possible and getting the bar behind my head as quickly as possible without necessarily pushing or pulling with my arm. It doesn't feel worse than it did a few weeks ago, and that's all I can ask for at this point. I've said this to a bunch of people, but basically, if I'm increasing my training load with volume or intensity and it doesn't get worse, then that is some amount of progress, right? It's not necessarily getting better, but because of the training response not getting worse, then that means that sort of conditioning or condition of the elbow has sort of stabilized. And I think that's a lot to say, especially given how much overhead things I do and sort of just the overall state. It felt like a few weeks ago. It felt like my elbow would explode basically every time I wanted to do any sort of weightlifting thing. But here is today's work, just sort of continuation from last week, which was just 5 sets of 3 at 70 last week, and this week is 75. This is pretty easy, but again, I'm just trying my best to keep my elbow in the right position. And what I found is that as long as my wrist isn't too extended, then the elbow is okay. And yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. I think a big thing for me is having the confidence to pull high enough such that the bar will not, or at least my arm won't need to sort of go through this soft range of motion before it snaps into place, if that makes sense. That was probably not the best way of explaining it, but yeah, it's overall I'm managing it. I think it's if it's not getting better, then it's okay for me, at least at this time. It's as long as it doesn't get worse. That's the final thing that I have to say about that. Um, as far as training block goes, I'm not super sure how far Steve wants me to push on these. I imagine I probably could go to 85 for a few triples. I'm not sure about 5 triples, but these are pretty light. And I think one thing that would help me a lot here would be is if I use my straps. But I think the straps are one of the reasons why, potentially, why my elbow is sort of the way it is. So lately, I've just been doing the block powers with normal hook grip. Not too big of an issue for my hands. It just doesn't feel like I'm doing, at least doesn't feel like I can always hold it in the same spot that I am used to holding it in. The first rep is always really solid, and then as it goes on through the set, it kind of declines in quality, which makes sense, right? Because my forearms get a little bit more fatigued. But yeah, this is a pretty good set here. First 2 reps are solid, and we'll get into the third rep. So this is another reason why I don't like not utilizing the straps, because I end up taking forever to reset my hands in between them. But Steve's idea was to make sure that I don't have to hold onto the bar as I drop it, so that alleviates a lot of forearm fatigue and buildup of overall volume. And so I think that small adjustments like that have been helping me a lot. This is my final rep right here. And so after that, I do that weird banded Romanian deadlift that I am not sure how I feel about. I like it, but I don't like it. I don't know. Because Khalil watched that whole thing transpire, and he said it was fine. The bar is designed to do that, but it's never a good look when that happens. But yeah, here they are, 5 sets of 5 here. Yeah, it's just a weird situation. Setting up for this takes a while, and then actually executing is so strange to me. I understand that it's supposed to overload at the top, but it just it's just a weird sensation. Yeah, we'll see how far I can get on this. I at the top of each rep, I tried my best to do a little shrug, and at the end, I tried to hold it a little, just so that I could sort of reap the benefits of having the higher tension at the top. But yeah, it's just putting in work. Not too much to say about these. All these accessory lifts are not. I don't need to be super technically sound. I just have to do them, load the weight and execute on the movement. Um, there was an argument that I read a while ago that's saying that improper technique for building muscle may actually build more muscle at the beginning of that sort of training cycle. This is it's not related to powerlifting or weightlifting in any means, but it was just saying that the extra musculature that you need to sort of activate to execute on those improper movements requires you to use more muscles, and so that would elicit a little bit more muscular growth. Obviously, at lighter weights. When it gets to heavier weights, then it becomes an issue of, oh shit, am I gonna get hurt? So that's why I said at the beginning of sort of training cycles. But anyway, after that, I moved into some snatch push presses. These are not required for me to do the overhead squat. I just felt that on some of these, I felt strong enough and I felt stable overhead enough to do them. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue doing them next week. Some of them are a little bit iffy, but it is what it is. I always try my best to get the most out of what I can. As you could see there, I didn't do the overhead squat on that last one. I won't do it on this one either, but I do think I will do it on the last set. Just, again, it's just me chugging along, just doing my best, doing the best I can. So, actually today, I had to go to work after the gym, which is not something that ever happens on Mondays. This is the first Monday I ever worked, and so I had to rush through all my other final accessories at the end, just pull-ups and GHD sit-ups. And that ended up being late to the gym, or sorry, to work, but it's okay. I didn't get in trouble. It won't happen again. But it's just a weird situation for me to be in overall. But yeah, today was just another day, just putting in work, trying my best to be better, and trying my best not to hurt my elbow further. So that would be it for today. Shoots.